5 Craziest Young Cannibals. Number 1. Robert Ackerman. This 19-year-old from Cologne was living with Joseph Schweiger, a 49-year-old from Austria, in accommodation provided to people struggling with mental ill health who hadn't improved with other types of treatment. The neighbors knew Ackerman to be angry and prone to violence, and said at the time of the tragedy that they heard a number of loud arguments coming from the flat. Ackerman was arrested when he was discovered at the scene of a bloody murder, so bad that the attending officers were said to be shocked. Ackerman's flatmate was found mutilated and Ackerman had blood around his mouth. Schweiger's brain and tongue were dished up on a dinner plate. There were no other organs removed from the body, but the police reported that they couldn't say for sure that Ackerman hadn't eaten parts of Schweiger. Number 2. Gregory Kinetise. Gregory Kinetise had been kept hidden from the public's awareness for nearly 30 years. He is accused and has apparently confessed to the terrible murder of his father, but he hasn't yet been tried for this crime due to the poor state of his mental health. He is currently in a hospital which works specifically with patients such as Kinetise. The state of Oklahoma saw its most gruesome murder ever in 1977, when Kinetise's father was horrifically killed with a butcher's knife. His remains were then cut into a number of pieces, cooked, and then eaten by Kinetise, who was 20 when he undertook his gory meal. In a report from Kinetise's psychiatrist, he apparently admitted that his dead father tasted like steak. Number 3. Ivan L. Ivan L., as he is known, was a chef in Murmansk, Russia when he brutally murdered a 32-year-old man he pursued and then met on an internet dating site. Ivan cut his date up and then proceeded to eat him. 21-year-old Ivan admitted that he wanted to eat human beings and had set his sights on eating at least 10 people. After violently stabbing the poor man he'd invited around to his flat, Ivan then hacked off his feet and head before beginning his awful meal. Number 4. Stanley Dean Baker. Stanley Dean Baker was a self-confessed hippie druggie, and it's the drugs he blames for the horrific murder he committed on the 13th of July 1970. He was hitchhiking alone in California when he was picked up by a man from Montana who offered him a ride. Stanley Baker shot the stranger before, as he admits, chopping out the heart and eating it. He even kept his victim's finger bones in his pocket too. The media reported Stanley Baker to be a Satanist due to the gruesome murder he was charged with, and for the fact he had a satanic Bible in his backpack, along with a recipe for LSD. Baker himself admitted to having been a member of a Wyoming blood-drinking cult, although he completely denied being involved with Satan worship. Number 5. The Jeong family. This scary South Korean gang hated people with money so much that they decided to wage war on them, selecting their victims from the most well-to-do customers at an elitist department store in the city of Seoul. The 6 murderers were all put on trial in 1994, accused of killing 5 people and disposing of the bodies. They were each found guilty and all given the death penalty. Some of the victims' remains were hidden in the countryside. For the other bodies, the gang put an incinerator in the basement of the place they were hiding, especially for burning the bodies of the people they killed. They didn't plan to get caught so soon, and the only emotion they showed during their trial was to wish they'd managed to kill more people. One of the gang confessed to cutting open the bodies and eating parts of them. He explains that he did it to become less human and build himself up to murder more. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe.